Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show. She's looking around trying to figure out what's going on back here, what she's feeling. She has blinders on, but she's being good. You can drive without blinders, but it's kind of traditional, and it kind of removes some distractions. If the horse just trusts you, they have to trust you because they can't see what by nature they are built to see, and that is out of the sides of their eyes. And yet when you're pulling a cart, you don't want them to be distracted by things out of the sides of their eyes. So that means they have to have confidence in you. We're doing a desensitization again with Eve for her harness and her FORECART, her single FORECART. We had a little bit of a to-do with our little Zebus the other day because of wind and a spook. So, and it's been quite a while due to the weather since we have harnessed Eve. As a matter of fact, for about a half a minute, I took an excerpt from our past show to show you where we're at. Okay, so we are harnessed up. A lot of straps. As she walks by, my camera operator will follow. And she's kind of spooky right now.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely spooky. She's sensing something we're not sensing because it's not windy. But okay, just a few minutes of desensitization because Shalea is here to learn and possibly help us in the future. So she is watching. Maybe will walk along with me. And we hope that this summer, starting in the spring, but by May 15th, I want to have it planted. We hope we'll have a place to plant a larger plot of Timothy hayseed. And we hope that Eve will be able to help us. And probably not this year, but we'll start the training again. Maybe next year, we hope that Eve and Sadie in pairs will be farming horses together, as we have a pairs driving harness. You see, Scott is having a little bit of trouble keeping Eve's confidence up. So, yeah, we don't know why, but we're being defensive. Okay, stop when you can. Okay, now here's this obstacle. You want to go with me? Shall you take one shaft and I take the other? This is just a training FORECART, and it's an old hay cart. Okay, let's go. We're going to haw. Haw over means left. We're going to walk it around Eve. Now, it's making noise. Eve is, she's going to be wondering again. It's been a while since she's heard those noises. Good girl, Eve. Notice where Scott is holding her lead line, not right under her chin. What he needs to do is get her focus, her attention, if she starts getting spooked by something. And if you do it right under the chin, that's kind of, a lot of beginners think that that's the way to do it. It's not the way to do it. Okay, we're walking. Good girl, Eve. Now we're going to haw, and then we're going to G. Listen to all that noise. We're going to G. Over here where we have a little more room. G. It's all right, Evie. Now, how far did we get last time? I showed you a moment with an excerpt. We got so, it's all right, Evie, that we could bring these shafts up along her side. Let's straighten out. We're going to pull back.
It's okay. You're okay.
And now straight approach. It's all right, Evie. Now she has her blinders on, so she hears us, but she can't see us. You see, she's trying to see. Can you hold up that shaft so that I can go and give her a little bit of confidence? We need to have mutual confidence here. It's all right, Evie. It's all right. It's all right. She knows me very well. Nevertheless, she is a prey animal. It's all right, Evie. I'm going to touch her where we're going to try to bring the shafts up, so feeling something won't be real shocking to her.
It's okay.
It's all right, Evie.
It's fine. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
You know what we need to do, Scott? Just go forward a little bit.
Okay. Step up.
Follow you when you've stopped her again. We want to be closer to the camera. All right.
It's okay,
Again, there's noise, noise, noise.
It's okay, Eve. You're okay.
It's all right, Evie.
Okay.
Now we're going to stop right here.
You're
It's
okay.
all right.
Okay.
It's all right. We're going to let the shaft touch her.
Okay. Okay.
Ah, she said, no.
Oh.
I know there's something back there. It's all right, Evie. Now she might
Okay.
bolt forward, so you don't want to be
Okay.
in front of her.
It's okay,
It's
Eve.
all right. No,
It's okay.
she says, I don't want to stand still here. She's scared. Been a while. It's a cold day. Okay, so turn around. We'll back off, and you turn around and straighten her out up again. She sees it now. She sees it. She hears it.
Oh.
Good. Now we're coming up again.
Oh.
It's all right, Evie. I'm talking to her, trying to give her confidence. It's all right, Evie.
It's okay.
It's all right.
You're okay.
It's all right. Okay, now we're going to touch it a little bit on her left hip. There.
It's okay.
Very nice. A little bit on her right hip. There. Very nice. Now, touching on the hip is one thing. Can we come forward?
It's okay.
We're not hooked. Hooked is commitment. We're just
You're okay.
training.
You're okay.
It's all right, Evie. And watch it. Now, don't go too close to strike zone. Okay? It's all right, Evie. Your side on the ribs. There.
Good girl.
My side on the ribs. She's
You're okay.
certainly feeling it.
You're okay, girl.
A little bit more forward. It's all right. We're not hooking though. But you see those loops where the shafts would go? Do you see them? Can you point to it? Good. That's eventually where the shafts are going to go through. And then we're going to be able to hook the tug straps up to these eye bolts back here. Can you kind of point to it? Yeah, good. Okay. All right. And then ultimately we want Eve to be able to pull this homemade FORECART in a straight path. That's all we're going to ask for at first. See, she's standing nice now. A little bit more forward because we'd have to go through those loops. It's all right. She could bolt out at any moment.
You're okay.
It's all right.
You're good. Good.
Well, talking to her.
Good
A little
girl.
more. Now you see her back legs would be about this far away from the FORECART. We'd be in the FORECART, one of us. We'd be drive lining her. She's real good at drive lining, and we'll review it just before we do it. Now back off, trying not to touch her. It's all right.
Okay.
It's making noise.
Okay.
Tim, kind of watch her head. It's making noise, so she's listening. She's looking as best she can
It's okay.
with these blinders on. Good girl. Very nice, Eve. Okay, now we're going to go over here to the right, which we haven't passed her with it yet. We're going to let her see it. It's all right. All of the creaking. Yeah, she's looking at it. She says, okay, I'm not scared. Okay, let's go over here to the left and put the shafts down for now.
It's okay, Eve.
It's all right. Make sure it doesn't slide back. Is it solid? Okay. Well, that's our moment of resolution in desensitizing, once again, Firecrest Easter Eve to all of this tack, all of this equipment to make her someday a very trustworthy hard worker as a farming horse. Well, we haven't had much time to do filming in the last few weeks, but today we're going to try something different with Firecrest Easter Eve and these shafts of our homemade FORECART. I saw a Clinton Anderson show last week where the caisson soldiers had horses that were pulling a cart that had a casket on it. And Clinton was helping the caisson soldiers, most of whom didn't know how to train a horse, to get their horses used to having a shaft between them. And he said, what I want you to do from the ground with the lunge line is lunge the horse closer and closer to the shafts and then lunge the horse over the shaft. Well, I realized that's another way to desensitize a horse to shafts. Now, Eve, we've had the shafts up by her sides several times. When we have enough people on our team, hopefully soon, we will actually connect the shafts and have her walk a straight path. But for now, we've been warming her up in saddle, and I'm giving Sarah the option to either get out of the saddle or do it in saddle to get Eve to walk over these shafts, just as another tool, another training aid to shaft desensitization. So first Sarah's walking around, which is a very good idea. Eve doesn't look at all concerned. She has walked over poles, walked over cavalettis, walked over our vinyl jumps many, many times in the past few years. Trotted over them, cantered over them. But what will she say about these like uneven poles? You see, they're uneven. They're down to the ground in the front, which is the east direction, and closer to the seat of the cart. They're up high. And Sarah, just do it at the low end for now. Now she has to see them and be willing to walk over them. Ah, is she avoiding?
A little bit.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what the horses were doing to the soldiers, avoiding. And Clinton could see it in their body language. Again, she's avoiding, which means she thinks those shafts are kind of spooky. Now, I'm going to get closer and maybe try to help with visual block.
Good girl.
Good girl. Okay, and she stepped on it. Great. Okay, let's very carefully, just a couple more times. She actually stepped on it with one leg, but it moved a little bit. I don't think it will break. Let's see if we can get her to do it without the visual block. Yes, yes, and she's looking where she's supposed to be going. And that's what the horses were doing in Clinton Anderson's show. As soon as they became focused, confident, not scared, they just looked at them and stepped over them. Beautiful. Okay, I don't even think we have to do it at a trot. I'd just say maybe a little bit farther up on the shaft, so she has to pick up her legs a little bit more. There, there. Good. She touched it. It made a noise. Back the other direction. And then we'll call it quits for today. And when we have more members on the team, especially when we have weather like today, which is almost a spring-like day, we'll actually hook her up. Maybe take a few steps forward. Good, good. Oh, beautiful. Okay, Sarah, come here and let's just have a short discussion from you, being on top of her, feeling her tension, if there was any. Were you comfortable those last few times?
Yeah, she seemed a little bit to pick up her pace at the walk, but that was about it.
Okay, and seemed to know how high she had to lift those feet. And that's what we want. We want our horses to take responsibility for where are their feet. Okay, that's all for today. Sonia Sokolow, the Urban Cowgirl. As is often the case, after we turn off the camera, we start discussing ideas. Sarah thinks because Eve is so relaxed, because the weather is so good, where she's standing right now, we really ought to just bring the shafts behind her and remind her that that's where they're going to go in the future. So let's see what her body language says about those shafts in this direction at this time. That's a good girl, Eve. Yeah, she's looking at me. Now I'm picking them up. The cart is making noise. I'm gonna go, you don't see me, but I'm walking in a large circle around. It's making noise. I should be coming into camera's view. It's all right, Evie. She's watching me. She doesn't have her blinders on because we don't even have her harness on. It's all right, Evie. It's all right. Coming up behind her. It's all right. It's all right, Evie. Now I'm going to touch her very quietly. Good girl. Left hip. She flinched a little bit. Right hip. Good girl. A little farther. I'll go, if all goes well, as far as Sarah's legs. Good girl. Left hip. Good.
Good girl.
right hip. Okay, another couple feet. Okay, left hip, right hip. There you go. Pull it back away. Making noises again, but she's okay on it. Good girl, Eve. Very nice, Eve. This is Firecrest Easter Eve, my rope horse and my farming horse. We think she has the best disposition, the best abilities to pull that homemade forecart, and this spring have her help us do some farming here at Shadrach Farms. Well, here's our next session with Firecrest Easter Eve, and this is midwinter. It's mid-February, but we haven't had much rain at all, so we are back here in the pasture. As a matter of fact, we've got our irrigation turned on because our grass is getting thirsty. We brought our FORECART here. We have to remind Eve, because everything is new when you go to a different place, what it's like to ground drive around here in this open space. So Sarah has the ground driving line. Shalea, who's a little bit new to this, has the lead rope in her hand and an arm extension if she needs it for a visual block in front of Eve's face. And I say in front because Eve has her blinders on. This is one of our 2 pairs harnesses. We definitely want to go back to pairs driving this year, but we're going to wait until we've got Eve confidently hooked up to this FORECART and can give us some forward motion. All right, so just to finish up this show, let's see if we can do this uneventfully. Sarah, as Speak Loud, is going to give the step up and G and Ha instructions. And Shalea is going to discipline Eve or help her to understand what the request is. I'm here if there's a problem. We're just desensitizing Eve again to all of this harness equipment and to the FORECART. And we may or may not bring the FORECART up to her side, as we did before winter started. We have videos of us bringing the FORECART up to her side here. Then it got too wet and we decided to move to my other property and work with her there. Okay, so let's go, Sarah.
Okay. Step up, Ha.
Step up, Ha, says Sarah. Say it as loud as you can for Eve's sake, for the camera's sake, and I'll try to repeat because we don't have mics on. Here we are in this open space.
Step up, Ha.
Good. Sarah is going to aim for going back toward the FORECART and ground driver around the FORECART. Now in the past we've had a little bit of trouble with Eve not stopping in the driving lines here in this open space. So we're doing it with somebody at the head for the very reason that we want to make sure that if we need to help Eve understand what a ho command means, we've got Shalea to help her understand it. Good. You see she's getting high-headed. That means she's getting a little bit excited. She's got all that harness equipment hanging on her, swinging back and forth, touching her in various places. Here in the pasture. Another Ha turn, and Sarah's saying, good girl. Just for a moment here, I have to face the sun with the camera, though we usually try to keep the sun behind us. Good. Okay, now see if you can go around the FORECART without getting that stress in her body. Oh, nice. Watch her ears, watch her pace, watch her neck. She's an old-style Morgan. If she lifts that neck, that's because she's saying to us, I'm a little bit concerned.
Step up, G. Step up, G. Good girl. Step up, G.
When you're comfortable doing it, ask her for an HO and see if she does it. She does it. Very nice. That doesn't mean she'll do it every time, but very nice. Now, Shalea, if she didn't, you do a little bit of a jiggle, but it has to be timely. If it looks like she's trying to go forward when Sarah's asking for a hoe, well, then that jiggle has to help her. Understand, or remember what is a hoe when you're in harness. Okay, let's go. Again, the other direction around the forecart.
Step up, hop. Good girl. Hop. Good girl.
Ha is left, G is right.
Step up, hop. Step up, hop. Good girl.
Yeah, one more time in that direction, then try to line her up in front of the forecart. We'll see if she's gonna be nervous if we bring the forecart up to her. This is a hay cart that has been transformed into a training forecart. Certainly not something I would use to really do farming, but just to train, I feel that it's a safe piece of equipment as we have adjusted it with shafts.
Step up, hop.
Good. Now see if you can get,
Step up, hop. Step up, hop.
yeah, get her lined up. A little bit more and to the G direction. Good, good. Now she's pulling away. Now what is she saying? She's saying, ooh, I don't like that pressure on my mouth. Do you feel that you're a little bit too much contact?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Okay. We try to be as light as we can be here. Very little contact. Just understanding, willingness. Okay, so I moved the camera back. Now I've got the tug straps in my hand and we're really not going to hook them up today. But that would be maybe for next session if the weather holds. And if she allows us to get those shafts up to at least her hips. Let's see. We're going to show you the tug straps, but we're not going to hook up today. You see that we have quick releases on them. I shook the tug straps because they make a noise and I want Eve to get used to that noise. Then I walked up to the shafts and as I picked them up, the forecart started creaking and I wanted Eve to get used to that noise. I walked up towards her hips. You can see that she's turning her head to look, but remember she has blinders on, so she really has to trust me when she hears me do things like that behind her. Very carefully, very quietly, especially because the ground is not flat. There are potholes. I had to make sure that the forecart didn't push up against her prematurely. Come closer and closer to the hip. Not sneaking, just being big, being gentle, but definitely being on purpose to bring these shafts up to her hips. Closer. Everybody was aware that she might bolt, but she wasn't connected to the forecart yet. You can see that she's looking back. She heard the creaking. She's concerned, but she's being confident. She's trusting me. I went as far as I wanted to go. Then as I backed off, I on purpose made sure that the shafts touched her. First on her right hip, you can see that she's looking back. She's saying, what is that feeling? We'll get her really confident that if she feels things like that, here's the creaky forecart behind her. It's no spooky object to worry about. Then I pulled the forecart back out of the way and I did another training event. And that is, I took the forecart, creaky as it is, and walked around her. Watch her watch the forecart. Watch her watch me. But watch that she hasn't moved her feet. Now she sees the forecart. She was okay on that.
Watch her ears. She's listening. She's wondering what's next, but she's not spooking. And then we do everything on both sides and in both directions. So I had to take the FORECART behind Sarah where I could make a U-turn with it and come back the other direction. Just watch Eve. Her body language is telling us a lot. A step forward. She was a little bit concerned just then. Here we go. We're turning the FORECART around. Eve is okay. Watch her body language. Watch her legs. Watch her lips. Yeah, she's just licking her lips. That's a good sign. Now we're going in the other direction. Eve is hearing it, looking when she can with her blinders on. Still no stress. No bolting. No backing. So I considered that our moment of resolution. Put the FORECART shafts down.
I'm going to sum it up. Eve gets an A+ for re-desensitization to and sensitization with our training farming FORECART. Any comments? Anybody feel that she was overly stressed?
She was a little stressed ground driving.
Little stressed ground driving. Okay, yeah, we can come out here and ground drive without the FORECART just for practice, because you know there's a lot of expanse here, and that's very different from ground driving on a driveway or in an arena where there's fences. We're completely enclosed here by fences, but it's a big pasture. We call it the HVD West pasture, and this is where we want to work. And when we work with Eve on this training, we turn my other two Morgans out in what we call the HVD East pasture, and as soon as we're done, we put everything away and let them join each other again for another day of grazing together.
See more at www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.